Hello, my name is Tim Edwards and welcome to the Tim G. Edwards Music YouTube channel. This is lesson number 6 and I'm going to teach you just kind of a fun way to sing along to the song of Jesus is a Rock and He Rolls My Blues Away. I'm going to interpret it a little bit different and have some fun with it. But I'm also going to teach you a new chord, and that's the chord of A7. A7. You previously learned the chords of A and D and E in order to play the 12-bar blues. We're going to keep that same chord progression, but we're going to spice it up with in a couple of places using the chord of A7. If you don't know how to play the 12-bar blues, I encourage you to visit lessons number 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'll teach you the chords, also the 1 and 2 and 3 finger riffs. So let's have a fun time playing, and let's get started. Jesus is a rock and He rolls my blues away. Jesus is a rock and He rolls my blues away. Jesus is a rock and He rolls my blues away. Repeat after me now. I love Jesus, I love Jesus, yes I do, yes I do. I love Jesus, I love Jesus, how about you, how about you? I love Jesus, yes I do, I love Jesus, how about you? Jesus is a rock and He rolls my blues away. Jesus is a rock and He rolls my blues away. Yeah, Jesus is a rock and He rolls my blues away. All right, hopefully you've heard that song before. I've heard that song for many, many years, since the 70s. I've used that song in youth groups, youth revivals, children's services, and so forth, and the kids really, really enjoy this song. But as we've learned in previous lessons, in playing the 12-bar blues, that's really just this song is just sung to the 12-bar blues chord progression that you previously learned using the chords of A, D, and E, and hopefully you know those chords. If you don't, then I encourage you to go back to lesson number 2, and I teach you how to play the chords of A, D, and E, and we'll kind of review those here in just in a few moments. So again, this song is played to the chord progression of the 12-bar blues. You got 4 bars of A, playing A like you see up above here, 4 bars of A, and then you have 2 bars of D, and then 2 bars of A, and then lastly you have 1 bar of E, 1 bar of D, and then you're back at A, and then you end with E, okay? So that makes up the 12 bars of blue, 12 different measures, 12 different bars of chords, okay? I'm going to teach you a new chord, the chord of A7, just to kind of add a little bit of a spice on that 4th bar of the 12-bar blues. Just before you change into the chord of D, we can add the A7 just to add a little bit of spice to that. But I thought this would be a good song to teach you if you don't know it, but with a chord progression, with the A, D, and E chord progression using the 12-bar blues. This is, you know, some lyrics that are there that you can utilize. This song, I think, the lyrics was written by Congi. I think that's his name, around 1974, with what research that I've done. You can search through YouTube and hear this song sung in many different variations, different words, different verses. I kind of heard it sometime back, kind of stopping about midways and doing, kind of having engagement with your congregation or with your youth or children, and just kind of repeat after me like I was showing you earlier, like when I was saying I love Jesus, and then they could say I love Jesus, yes I do, yes I do. So that's kind of a fun way just to kind of break up the beat a little bit on that. So you can kind of practice with that using the practice backing tracks available. But at any rate, if you would like the full lyrics to the verses and the chorus, along with the chord progressions, in my description below, there's a link to guitar tabs that Tony Congi has provided the lyrics and the chords to this 12-bar blues. So I encourage you to download that and for future reference and future practice. And you can use that how you see fit. So again, the chords is A, and you can play A. If you kind of zoom in here, you know, you may play it A with your fingers like this, or like I taught you in previous lessons here with your finger number 1 on string number 3, 2nd fret, finger number 2, string number 4 on the 2nd fret, and then finger number 3 on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. And you can strum all the strings except for the top one, okay? And if you want to just barely lean your thumb up against that top string so it won't ring out, you can just kind of strum down on all of them, okay? So really adding the A7 note, you just want to put your little pinky finger, finger number 4, onto the G note there on that first string, that first E string on the 3rd fret. Hear the difference? So that's all you'd have to do, and you would just add that on the last couple of beats of bar number 4. That's the only time really you need it, is bar number 4, like I showed you previously, and you'll see that on the practice backing track as well. Okay, so that's A. I typically play A a lot of times using just a bar. I know a bar is hard, but I just use my middle finger or finger number 2 and just bar across the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, and kind of bend my joint there a little bit to let that high E ring out. And then when I play the E7, I'll use my little finger still to do that. So that's another way you might can play A, okay? And I'll try to play it like this in the video, just for your sake of learning. And then the other the chord that we learned is D, the chord of D. Again, your first finger is on string number 3, 2nd fret, and then your 2nd finger or middle finger is on the very bottom E string, the 1st string on the 2nd fret, and then your 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of your 2nd string. And again, you can strum down on all strings except for the top one for your D, okay? And then your E string is your 1st finger is on the 1st fret of your 3rd string, okay, the 3rd string, and then your finger number 2 is on the 5th string there on fret number 2, and then your 3rd finger is on string number 4, fret number 2, and that's an E. Okay, since that's an E, the top string is the E and the bottom string is the E. You let all strings ring out. Okay, so the top string is open, and then the bottom 2 strings are open. Okay, so then you have the A, then D, and then E. Okay, and then on that A, you just add the 7th. And where you would add that is, you know, the first 4 bars are in the chord of A. So when you get to that 4th bar at the end, right before you change to the D, is when you would want to use the A7, or you have the opportunity to do it. So playing it real slow, it would go like, Jesus is the rock and he rolls my blues away. Jesus is the rock and he rolls my blues away. Okay, so you saw where I added the A7 there. Just adds a little spice, and especially when you're playing fast, it kind of breaks up the tone a little bit and makes it fun to play on that. So that's pretty much it. So that's Jesus is the rock and he rolls my blues away. I've heard people use the lyrics of Jesus is the rock and he rolled my sins away. They have hand motions and different things. Just really kind of have a competition. You can divide up your singing group, your youth or your children, kind of have a kind of a roll back and forth like that. And it's just a fun song to learn and to worship to, using the 12-bar blues in that. Also, if you're visiting this lesson for the first time, lessons number 2, 3, and 4, and 5 are dedicated strictly to the 12-bar blues, and it just shows you not only the chords in lesson 2, but lesson 3, using the 1-finger riff, and then the next lesson, the 2-finger riff, and then lastly on the 5th lesson, a 3-finger riff. So I encourage you to visit those lessons and use those practice backing tracks as well for your learning. Okay, so as always, we're going to pivot back to practice backing track number 6, and it is the 12-bar blues. A little bit different from the previous tracks that you've practiced with. The previous tracks you practice with start off slow, speed, medium speed, then a fast speed. This one's at a fast speed, but it's actually a little bit faster than the previous ones, just a little bit. You'll see both of my hands using the strumming and the chords on the frets. So you'll play along with me, and I'll have the chords up there, including that A7, when to apply that. So it'll be at a faster pace, okay? It won't be at the slow pace, but it'll be at the faster pace. But hopefully you know how to play by now, since you've practiced on the previous lessons. And then I'll play it through, about 3 or 4 bars before I actually do that little stop on the downbeats. And on the downbeats, when I stop on this particular track, you would just play the downbeat on beat number 1 on the first bar, okay? So it'd be, I love Jesus, yes I do, yes I do. Then switch to D. I love Jesus, how about you, and then I'll play rhythm with the rest. Then I play it through, 2 or 3 times. So I have that stop included in the practice backing track, a couple of times, just to kind of break it up and let you play along with, give you something to practice with. That's what the purpose of that track is. So that track is just a 12-bar blues. There's no melody in there. There's no singing or anything like that. I just wanted to kind of give this practice lesson to you to let you know this is a fun song to use for children, youth, and adults. Okay, let's pivot to the practice backing track now, and I'll play it at a faster speed. And So what did you think? Fun song to play with and jam to, and that A7 just adds a little bit of spice. So hopefully you've enjoyed that, and you know, I encourage you to, after this lesson, to spend as much time as you would like using that practice backing track, and just trying to increase your speed and improve your skills. And you can not only use the chords, but you know, with that same practice backing track number 6, you can use the 1-finger riff or 2-finger riff or 3-finger riff. You can switch back and forth, just ever how you feel led to play it. Just have fun. That's the main thing in playing that. So and again, the practice backing track, I go through 2 different sessions in that. Both are at the same speed, but one you see my hands playing with the chords, and the other one you do not see my hands playing. So, but you do see the chords. So I encourage you to reference that a little bit when you get a chance. Appreciate you tuning in to this lesson. I enjoyed teaching you the kind of the lyrics and how you can use the 12-bar blues to some of the lyrics that Tony Congi had written. And again, just click on the description below and you get the lyrics and chord charts for free through Guitar tab on that. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my channel, I encourage you to do so when you get the opportunity, just so I can keep you informed when new videos have been uploaded, new lessons. I try to do that once per week, so I encourage you to do that. So I've enjoyed teaching you today, and I'll see you at the next lesson.